The all-new generation of the Mercedes E-Class as the top AMG variant, called the Mercedes-AMG E63S V8 Plus. Whew. Okay, I'm finished with the name, but I'm not finished with the review, because that is today on Autogefühl, your #1 resource for in-depth car reviews and your #1 community to discuss cars with Thomas. We're going to take a detailed look on the exterior, the interior, the changes, this top AMG variant to the normal E-Class, and also difference E43, because we've presented you that one earlier, and E63. So also check out our normal E-Class reviews, the E43, and here this is about the top variant. And we will also have a 360-degree special video, so also check out that. We will all link those ones in the video description. But now let's go with our full review of this one. Road driving, autobahn driving and racetrack here today where we are in Portugal. So enjoy that in full HD, full screen and full length. Let's go. Starting with the front, what is significant here, the top AMG version has this dual fin in a horizontal way in the front grille, whereas for example the E43 has this diamond pin grille. And I must really say I like the E43 more from the front design, or also the AMG line you can pick for the lower models, because I really fancy this diamond pin grille. This one here, of course, something different. Which one do you prefer more? Check it out. And here the top headlights, the multi-beam LED lights, also with this very interesting light structure. And what you can see already here from this perspective is that we get a very strong power dome hood right here with those design lines. That is very beautifully done. And you can also see that this hood here is embedded. You can see the side spoilers are separated from the hood. A normal E-Class hood, if you're not thinking about the 63, is connected here to the headlights, so they try to differentiate it even more. And of course, as usual for those very sporty versions, this massive lower bumper style. 4.92 m or 16'1" is the total length of this vehicle, means 6 centimeters longer than the predecessor version that accounts for all Mercedes E-Class models, or E-Klasse as we say in Germany. Special with this 63 version is that we got the V8 bi-turbo sign at the side with this, well, let's say, kind of air outtake, but it's just, you know, for design purposes. Of course, we also have those 4-liter engine, a little bit less displacement than the predecessor under the hood. We'll soon come to the details of that one. It usually comes with 19-inch rims. Those ones here are the optional 20-inch. You see it's a style combination between the grey on the inside and silver on the outer part, a little bit retro style I think, and a red brake caliper as a contrast. And you can also see we got other variations inside this video here, also with other colors in our beauty shots, for example. Then you can check out some more of that. I would not pick a so-called night package, because then the frames around the windows are in black. Well, if you more prefer an aggressive style, then you would do that. I more prefer the chrome style, because I think it fits more to the E-Class especially. It has more elegance. The main design line is on height of the door handles. You can see those are also especially designed with chrome on the top, and the color, this Cavernite blue on the lower part, and goes on here to a classic sedan style. And you know, those versions are always also available as the T model or the estate version. Today we're starting with the estate, but there's also a T model in general E-Class review on Autogefühl, of course. And you can already see there is a small wing lip finishing the rear of the car. So while they had to enlarge the wheel arches on the side to fit also the bigger rims in the rear, they had to make the rear diffuser larger to to appear stronger. And those ones here are special fake exhaust. I mean, they are beautiful fake exhaust, but they are still fake. The real ones are hidden a little bit more deep in there. And you know what we get from you as feedback, that most of you guys really don't like fake exhaust. And I mean, designers do it here because then they have a free play how to design the exhaust without interfering with the real technology of the exhaust. That's the reason behind it. And here the 63 features a big diffuser in the rear. And I mean, just visually for the 63S and the 63, there's not much of a difference. More about, you know, equipment, a little bit of equipment to get some more rim-wise and just more horsepower. That one we'll check out in the front. Let's now take a look under the hood. And while you start with the E43 with a 6-cylinder, this one here in the 63 models, this one is the 8-cylinder then. 4 liters of displacement, that's less displacement than before in the predecessor version. It's the typical downsizing scheme. And with the 63 normal version, it starts with 571 horsepower. And this one here, the S version, 612. It's not too much of a difference. The acceleration is 3.5 or 3.4 seconds, 0 to 100 kilometers or to 62 miles an hour. So the 63S you just pick if you want to say, okay, I want the maximum that is possible. And the acceleration difference to the 43 model would be about 1.2 seconds, that this one here is faster. This is the car key, redesigned for the E-Class here with the AMG logo, also on the back side. And you don't have this badge here when you buy the car. This is just that you can see the number plate. And as they have 15 vehicles here on location, SEK, by the way, or SEK. This is the SEK in Germany, is Special Forces of the Police. Interesting. Then here also keyless entry is from serial production. You see the knob jumped up and we can get in. And the first view for you now on the interior. And this is of course the sporty spec of the E-Class, and that means what comes with the 63 version. First of all, the steering wheel here has microfiber on the outside parts. I really love it. They could have used leatherette on the bottom and the top. They did not, but maybe they need some more years to evolve that. Same with the seats. So what we can see here is the option, the bucket seats. I would not go for those ones, so please go for the normal sport seats. And the reason is, who will use this car on the racetrack? Then it maybe makes sense, but other than that, the normal sport seats are already sporty enough, have enough side support, and they offer you more comfort for your everyday driving. And then normal sport seats also come with standard with microfiber on the inside part, and then genuine leather on the outside part. And that's different from the 43 version. That's very interesting, because in the 43 version you have Artico on the outside parts, which is a fake leather and the best combination. I'm not sure why they picked it here in the other way. I think it's the wrong decision. You can also pick different styles here. For example, this one is the bright checkered style. It reminds us a little bit on carbon fiber, but there's also a dark normal carbon fiber available, for example, or you can get piano lacquer. Wood would more be maybe for a normal E-Class, so this one here is definitely the sportier style. And let's get inside. As it is, I mean, from the basis version, still a normal Mercedes E-Class. It's also not too hard to get inside. You sit a little bit lower, of course. And then, I mean, it's really a wow car. You can tell that, because you almost get overwhelmed by this fluent design. It already starts at the inside of the doors. We also have the Burmester sound system mounted right here, and also the seat control is on the outside part. So here you can still adjust something, because here you got, for example, the electric lumbar support and also the adjustment for the side bolsters. You maybe hear that. I can also control those side bolsters to pump it up a little bit. Other than that, I control the seats right here, for example, to slide forward or backward again. Also the seat heating is placed right there. The seating position, again, I mean, it's not the most sporty one, because we're still in an upper mid-size car segment. But I can tell you already right now from driving, it will be very sporty. And the best thing is really the steering wheel, that you have this grip here on the outside parts. And with an electric control, you can also adjust it. As I would be driving personally, I would really have it very close to me and maybe put the seat a little bit more backward. But you might wonder, sometimes when driving I have this steering wheel very much inside, but that's the only reason that you can better see the gauges in the front. But other than that, I would probably more drive in that way, maybe a little bit more behind. So a lot of people make the mistake and sit too far away from the steering wheel and drive like this, and then you don't have so much control over the car, so always check your right seating position. Wow, cockpit overview, there you can really see it again. This is the design concept of central purity. That means not too much buttons, especially in this area. But then again, central lines, you see they're floating a little bit, and they're overlapping gaps that would be hidden right there. So this is the design concept. And that's, of course, I think the most emotional design concept in this car segment. Optional, you can also get those huge screens. A normal E-Class also comes with analog gauges if you want to save some money, or if that's, let's say, too overpowered for you, because I mean it's really impressive. Look, those two screens, definitely. But then again, is it maybe too much? What is interesting, and we can always show you that in the cockpit overview, if you especially look in the more right area and this transition between the inside of the doors of the co-driver side, here with the ambient light that is coming right over there. That is really beautifully done, and you can also change so much colors of that. Not every color can be seen on camera that well, because they also vary a little bit in the brightness. Here, for example, red to red. The purple can be seen probably the best way. Even green is possible, but green can only be seen in total darkness, or maybe just even white. But I really prefer a more purple or blue ambient light in this case, because it also fits the best to the very outside color. Interesting concept, because if you don't have touchscreens, what do you do to make the commanding easier? Well, they have a solution right here. Two touchpads for the thumbs, and the left one controls the instruments, digital one. The right one controls the other screen. We take a detailed look at there again quite soon. And here you can also, then if you look at the central instruments with this speedo, RPM, digital meter combined, then I, for example, can scroll through the consumption figures or the range and stuff, and also change complete views here. I can also have the performance view with the turbo bar boost, or also more information on the assistant systems. And we will also check out the autonomous driving function in this review later on. This will be very interesting, and I can basically control the whole infotainment screen from here, or also change the whole design. This is the so-called progressive scheme. You can also pick classic, would be like this, that you have a separate RPM and speedometer. It is different also in the AMG version here than in normal E-Class. Or sport would be this one here with a yellow frame around and even more focused than on the RPM. And now to the right central screen, and I can either control it with my thumb again on the right steering wheel, as I've shown you earlier. So is this the right trackpad now, or also you hear that clicking, this is the central pad in the middle, as we used from other Mercedes models. So you have both possibilities, and you can change so much inside this infotainment screen. It's almost endless. The climate control 2-zone AC is, by the way, switch on the ignition. 2-zone AC is from standard equipment in the E63, and you can also get more climate function even from the rear seat passengers, so that would be possible. Here also look at those visualizations here with the optional 3-zone AC. Again, this car spec'd with so much options. Then let's go back. This is the main menu where you can, for example, have some more settings changed. Phone, you can either connect via Bluetooth like this would be available, or you can also use a cable, and then because the Apple CarPlay, Android Auto is also available here, for example, Apple CarPlay. The only thing is I would not really trust on that 100% because, for example, when I'm in the Apple CarPlay mode, then again, I cannot use a touchpad at the steering wheel because the systems do not work together. So I would go for Apple CarPlay and also if I don't have an infotainment system in a car. But in a car where I don't have, you know, something like this with a huge map and a really good infotainment system itself, also a Bluetooth handy connection for you know, free speech is perfectly fine for streaming audio music. So it's a racetrack from above here, for example. I can also, for example, do that zooming in with a touchpad thumb. So that's comfortable for the driver, and again, a big visualization, of course. So very impressive infotainment system. If you won't say maybe that's too much for me, that's over the top, but then again, it's also an option. The rest of the middle console is really big middle console and beautiful designed climate unit that you can still control, for example, the temperature and where the vents are coming from, not only in the screen. And I think that's a good solution because sometimes I just want to have it a little bit warmer or colder in the car, and that's an easy solution and even while driving. And with this menu press here, you can get in the comprehensive climate menu. An analog clock is fitted in every E-Class to make it a little bit classier in this upper mid-size segment. Then here we also got the AMG logo, and you can flip this one here up and, for example, store your phone right here or phones. This one would be also the place to store your phone for the inductive charging option. Beverage holders are also placed right there. This is also the USB connection, and the key can be put right here. There's a special place for that one. Then this is the central infotainment command unit, where you can go in the menu left and right and press if you want to select something. Then again, this one here can also be used as touchpad. You can scroll with this in the menu. So many possibilities in the highest spec to control the menu. And there's also an exhaust button. Then you can make the car louder or also change the whole driving modes with this here. Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus, and so on. We'll talk more about those when we drive the car. Storage space in the middle part is one of my favorite ones because it has this nice opening mechanism. More USB support would be there, and you can of course clean it up with the cables, and then you have also some reasonable space to store your stuff in there. Storage spaces, for example, here also at the inside of the doors for some water bottles, and here the glove box slides down smoothly, and well, there's not too much space in here. I mean, we can live with that. So what about the rear? Also from here I can see the Burmester sound system speakers, and I can just stress again, it's the best sound system there is on the market at the moment. If you pick the highest level of it, has so many nuances in it. I just tested it, but not on camera, because it really doesn't make sense, because when you hear it over the camera sound, you cannot really compare it. And for music lovers, this is really the best. Then what do we have here? Well, we have enough space in front of the knees. It changes a little bit depending on which seats you have. Sometimes you have sports seats which decrease the amount of knee room you have. Here with those, I have the impression that they give you a little bit more space. That's very interesting. Headroom wise, I'm 1.86 m or 6'1". I still have enough space over my head. So also if I lean back, that works very well. More headroom you do have, of course, when you pick an estate version. I mean, it's a classic sedan here, so you sit, you stay. It's not a very upright seating position, and you feel a little bit caged in here, although there's enough space in front of your knees and above your head. Seating position itself is of course comfortable, but I prefer, for example, as a rear passengers, prefer sitting in SUVs, for example, for that upright seating position also in the rear. And you have to tell the front driver to put the seat a little bit higher. That is possible even if you're a little bit taller, that you can put your feet better underneath the seat. That would be also a tip. More details for the rear passengers right here: temperature, the 3-zone AC, and you can get this one optional. Then some more space right here, and beverage holders, And what you can do from here is flip the middle part. That you can also do from here for the ski hatch function. Other than that, you need to release the rear seats from the trunk. We have already done that now, and then you can flip them around. Soon show you that. First of all, Isofix covers right here. There it is for child seats and on the two outer seats. And then if we flip the seats completely, and again, you have to release it from the rear. That's different in the Mercedes E-Class Estate or T model. There you can also flip the seats from here, from the rear. And then you can see there's also a top tether available to secure the seat, the child seat also from the top part. That's very important. And this one would be a, well, you see a 3-part setup you can flip then. But again, here the Estate is definitely more versatile. So the trunk area, here for a bag, for example, that you can use. Overall, well, it's usable, not the widest entry, but this is a classic sedan, that's the reason. You can also look through how you can load longer things. And to release the seats, that is here the lever you have to pull, and then you have to go around and then push the seat down. It's not the best solution they found here. And child safety, and maybe not only child safety tests, because Mercedes has figured out that very well, that they don't need too much resistance. Same, by the way, with the Estate version, that it automatically flips up again, this electric version. And we had an incident today with Jonas, my cameraman, and me, Thomas. So we were sorting out some stuff here, and then I was with my head right there, and then really got this electric hatch right there. It hurt a little bit, yes, but surprisingly I was not hurt that much, and that proved that the system really works. And that's how it really closes. So that's the electric closing, and also works with the opening. But that's not direct. I think it's just with the mechanical parts that are right in here. And by the way, this little fella here, I will use it today. I will show you why. And I welcome you here to the racetrack now. And this is the part because it has just been raining. Here the four-wheel drive will play all of its part, and this is really important because we get more traction. Yes, of course, there's some hardcore racing fans that prefer the rear-wheel drive, but there's also a mechanism that selects the torque on each wheel. First of all that, so you have this torque selection for each of the wheels, and you have a rear wheel bias, especially here in the Sport Plus mode at the moment. So when I accelerate, I mean, I don't slide the car all the way around, but I feel I got more torque at the rear wheels, and that leaves us again a very sporty characteristic. There's this new 9-speed multi-clutch transmission, so dual clutch. So they're very fast shifting processes, but of course here in the sport mode with the exhaust valve turn up, you hear of course the shifting processes. So if you're more in the comfort mode, then you don't feel so much that the car is shifting, but here of course for a racetrack want to hear that, of course. So Autodromo di Algarve here for you today. I hope you really enjoy that racing with me. You see the steering is very direct and feels natural. So I can leave my hands on the steering here. See, we slide just a little bit in the Sport Plus mode. Sport Plus mode means that the electronic stability control is already drawn back just a little bit. So I just don't get out of control completely, but still I have, enough chance to direct the car where I want to. Above that, there would also be the race mode available. 200 now, still silent inside the car, 220, 230, and still, I mean, hammering the brakes now, the carbon ceramic brakes, very good effect of that one for sure. And this is really the thing about the car, it's still comfortable here on the racetrack because the suspension is based on the air suspension we have on the air body control, and that makes it even comfortable to ride it on the racetrack. Here we can also look at the turning angles of the steering wheel and where the car is heading to. There would also be a race mode available, but I don't use it right now because the road is a little bit slippery still because it has been raining. Now you hear the brakes, tires were screaming just a little bit. Traction here outside the corner, four-wheel drive. And yeah, definitely, it's good to have the four-wheel drive here. I can have better lap times. And I mean, if I would go into race mode, I could have slid around the rear just even more. But even in the race mode, the stability control is not completely deactivated. But I could do that with a button also in the middle console. That would still work. Struggling sometimes really because the road is still a little bit wet, but it's of course also a lot of fun then. So listen to the sound here. So always braking at the pillows, they help us for the braking process. Here very close corner, again acceleration. Oh, there's a bird. Sound really gives off some emotion here. And soon we'll get on the start lane again and we'll hammer the throttle and have our Alpina Watchers acceleration moment. Today with the C-Strong Diver. Let's go! So it was 230 again. Now using the carbon ceramic brakes. Wow. So if you miss a braking point at some point, those brakes can still save you, at least here on the racetrack. What do you think about the sound, guys? Really impressive. And you see, if you miss one braking point, and that's always, by the way, very interesting to see. If you're in a group behind a very professional instructor, and I mean, a lot of those guys are driving here, we're meeting quite regularly and having partly the same experience, but you have always the same effect that the car that is driving behind a professional racing instructor, really good racing and professional race drivers, the car directly behind it drives the fastest lap time because you can really orient on the professional instructor, and the further you're behind, then you lose a little bit of contact because of course you know you're not the professional race driver. You can't orient so much on how the professional is driving, and that makes so much difference. Some more of the sound and here views to the front as you would be on the racetrack. And of course you can also join our 360-degree racetrack experience that is available also in another video, then with a little bit drier racetrack as well.
good grip, even if it's wet, and especially traction is no problem in the E63 for Martin Plus, because this mobile system is perfect, especially in weather conditions are like that. I hope you had fun and enjoyed. Probably later on you can have another one if the surface is dry. It's even more fun.
So now some Autobahn riding, and we'll start with an acceleration. Oh, let's go to Sport Plus, and we can get on the motorway very fast, and we will also show you some of the autonomous features, because you might not be racing all the time. So let's see that we can safely enter the motorway. Watch out to the acceleration. That was 0 to 130 with the race start. Whew. Always when you do that, it's really adrenaline rushing, and this is the moment also you feel the big difference between the E43 and the E63. That is when those 1.2 seconds faster from the V8 4-liter engine really play an effect. Really in a rush always. But this is also the funny thing about this vehicle. You can always go back to the comfort mode, and in the comfort mode it's really, as the mode says, very comfortable, as this one you see is still based on the air suspension, the air body control, and that makes this vehicle also, that's not without a compromise, you know, because there are some sports cars that are so stiff and get so uncomfortable that you don't really enjoy them in driving every day. This is really the same that I've also experienced from the E43. This one is from the setup a little bit stiffer. Also we got those 20-inch alloys on, but still you can have a comfortable ride because it's still based on this air suspension ride. So that's the best choice if you're able to spend so much money, of course. Yeah, about the autonomous features, I can always drive, you know, freely on the motorway, of course, but then it's always possible to set this second lever, you know, the turning indicators, and have the autonomous riding function. And you see that's, I mean, it's not thought that I take the hands off the steering wheel yet. I should not do this, but I can. And here I set the turning indicator for an overtaking. And I'm not hitting a throttle either, so I'm doing nothing. So just out the car, I'm putting the turning indicator back. When the overtaking process is done, I can set it to the right again, for example, and when the car is not realizing any vehicles that are approaching from the rear, the vehicle is doing the lane switch automatically, and in this case Mercedes is also leading. So there I get the warning now, I should touch the steering wheel, and it's basically enough just to put a hand on the steering wheel, but regulations as they are at the moment right now are still in a way you're responsible, you are controlling the car, not the assistant systems. If you're doing a crash, it's your fault and your life and the life of your co-driver, camera driver. I also get the warning signal, by the way, in the head-up display, the special AMG Sport head-up display. So how it is meant to be used is rather like this. You keep the hands on the steering wheel loosely is enough. Then the car, doesn't complain. And you can be a little bit more relaxed. So you're just letting the car flow. It's keeping you in the lane. And by being more relaxed, you also don't get so tired, because if you may be a little bit tired at first or stressed from the day, but then the car is helping you. You can have a little bit of relief, and you don't sleep, of course, but you can be, you can drive with less tension. So the car is taking part of that, and also, of course, always keeping the distance to the cars in front of you. Luckily for today, we don't have a car right now in front of us. That's probably fine. So, by the way, the GPS, I'm very satisfied with it from how the routes are being led. As I told you earlier in the interior review, sometimes it's a little bit complicated to enter addresses. That could be easier also with the touchscreen, especially.
800 meters.
But other than that, how the direction is being led, that's really perfectly fine. And also how the visualization is taking place. About the consumption, of course, when we are going on the Autobahn here, it goes down basically. But a total mix. So of course, this car is about a high consumption. And at the moment we have a mix, 1 or 2 accelerations, Autobahn ride, some inner city ride, and so at the moment we land up with about 14 liters on 100 kilometers, and that's really not an unrealistic value. You have to calculate with that for sure. So, and again, this road here on the Portuguese motorway, it's not the best motorway also as for the sound, because it's really a rough surface, but then again it doesn't get that slick when it's raining, like it's now starting. But again, the Mercedes E-Class in general is one of the best insulated vehicles ever. So even if we are at higher speeds on the motorway,
800 meters.
I hardly have to raise my voice. So especially there's this optional sound insulation package, and that one reduces the outside noises in a way that it's almost bizarre. So you're driving really fast and still almost can hear nothing, and that's really amazing. And same is happening here. Of course, the only difference is with the E63. If you compare it maybe with a smaller diesel or smaller petrol engine from a normal E-Class, you don't hear the exterior noise that much, but of course you can hear this already when you accelerate slowly. This was the comfort mode, and again you can see the big difference to that, and especially sound-wise there's a huge difference when you're in the Sport Plus mode, because the exhaust then opens another valve. Also when you release the throttle, it's blop. Got those blop sounds from the exhaust, and so you can really spice up your sporty life also on the Autobahn. And again, really switch back to the comfort mode again if you want to. So this car still has both, and that's also a big difference to the predecessor. This one here is sportier and comfortable at the same time, so you got a bigger spread. And you see, this is also the main reasons why Autogefühl cars here on our reviews are good if they have an autonomous driving function, because then I can also, you know, be a little bit more Italian and use my hands while speaking. So, mille grazie, also best greetings to our Italian viewers today. So that's it for the Automan driving. Last time you hear that sound here for today, because that's the time for our conclusion. And I think this car here looks really aggressive in the front, no question. But I think the E43 with this diamond pin grille, that's my personal favorite as for the design. Of course, this one here a little bit more aggressive in the whole style. The sedan version has different taillights, and of course the estate or the coupe version. I'm looking forward to the coupe version that is to follow soon, because the taillights are drawn more horizontally right there, and I prefer that more. Or maybe also the estate version then also later on to come. Of course, I want to hear your feedback on exterior, interior and the driving experience. As for me, the interior really refined what we have seen with a great style and of course a great build quality. The only thing is that you could say maybe it's a little bit over-engineered, because there's so much in this car available to control and to adjust. Maybe it's a little bit over the top. And there was also an important aspect, if you compare it again to a 43 model, why do they have to use genuine animal skin here, even in the seat combination mix, whereas they don't do it in the 43? But the strategy is, I think, the 63 people spend more money and then want higher quality, but also do they want to really, you know, go for the unsustainable way then? I'm not sure if that's really still the right strategy. As for the driving, this one here can't be beaten by anything else in this segment here, I think, at the moment, because there's a really great dynamic feature. And I mean, we've all seen on a racetrack, there's always power and you never lack any power. There can't be any more. With the all-wheel drive, of course, you can also get it very well on the ground. And I mean, it was available before for the S version, optional for the non-S version. Now you always get the all-wheel drive. I mean, some of the customers maybe want the rear-wheel drive still, but then maybe go for a C-Class, then that's still available with the 63 models. This is all more the pure sports car. This one here, and that's the final word for today, is really still, even with so much horsepower, a combination of a sports car and an everyday driving car, because it's still based on the air suspension. You can still ride it with a lot of comfort. Looking forward to your feedback again. And if you want to spend even 30, 40, 50,000 euros more than to get this version here, it's of course not worth as for the price-performance ratio. But here with this car, they show what they can maximum do in a sporty way. Thank you very much for watching this review on Autogefühl. Also join our other E-Class episode where we focus more, for example, again on the autonomous driving feature. We've shown it today as well. The T model, the estate model, also the 43 model, which is my favorite, and of course also our 360-degree special that is coming up, or maybe is also aired when you're watching this video a little bit later on. So a lot of things to do after this video even. Maybe take it for this evening, for tomorrow, or whenever. Keep on watching Autogefühl. Thanks for watching.